My name is Captain Matt Quay, and my wife Tina and I own the Spirited Tuskegee. And the project started when I was about 5 years old. I lived off the end of a grass runway back in Napa Valley, Minnesota, and there's a 450 horsepower Stearman that would take off and do skywriting. You'd turn this smoke on right over the top of the house and fill the whole neighborhood up with white smoke. So when I graduated from pilot training, my wife Tina graduated from college a week later, and we decided then was the time to try to pick up a Stearman biplane. So we started looking for a flying basket case or some sort of a project, and this one came along. We bought it on public auction. It had been wrecked in an accident. So we spent about 3 years rebuilding it. About a month after we picked up the airplane, we sent the paperwork with the serial number into the historians at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. I got a call from one of the archivists, and he'd asked if I was sitting down because he had some big news for me. And that's when I found out about the history with the aircraft flying at Moton Field, which is the primary training field at Tuskegee, Alabama. At that point, my wife and I decided to dedicate the airplane to the Tuskegee Airmen. So for the last 3.5 years, we've had it flying around the country, mostly around the West and the Midwest, meeting up with Tuskegee Airmen, letting them tell their story about what they did back in World War II and the historical significance of what they did for our country. Our other goal is to try to motivate youth, and the Tuskegee Airmen are a shining example because of what they did in World War II and how they overcame so much adversity to achieve what they did. Is pretty impressive, and any kid should be pretty highly inspired by that. We're out here on the ramp at Moton Field, and we're just about to depart for Washington, D.C. And yesterday was our final event with the aircraft, and it's probably one of our most memorable events. We had some local Tuskegee Airmen out here, and we were able to get some good documentary work with them. But the most fun part for me was actually taking one of the Tuskegee Airmen out flying. Mr. Ely was a Tuskegee Airman back in World War II, and he flew for many years with the CAA, which is the predecessor to the FAA, and just an amazing guy. And so we took off out of here, and right after we got out of the traffic pattern, I turned the aircraft over to him, and he's flying like it was old times. In fact, he even critiqued my landing. He said, well, it looked like you were going to do a wheel landing, and it started to turn into a three-point, and then you rolled it on into a wheel landing. So I was like, that's exactly what happened. So he was critiquing me the whole time, but he went pretty easy on me. It's just amazing to be able to sit in the back seat of the airplane and look forward and realize that you're flying with a real Tuskegee Airman, and it just sends chills down your back. It's just a memory that I'll never forget. We also had about 35 signatures of original Tuskegee Airmen on the inside of the airplane, and all the Tuskegee Airmen that we had out yesterday had not been out to the aircraft yet. So I think we're just up to about 42 signatures on the inside of the aircraft. As we leave Tuskegee, this is the final journey for the aircraft, and it's a little bit bittersweet. I'm excited about where we're going. This airplane's going in the National Museum of African American History and Culture, and so it's going to be the only airplane in the museum. I'm hoping that kids and adults alike will see the airplane and kind of gravitate towards it, and then that will bring them up to the Tuskegee Airmen exhibit and educate them about that. So I'm excited that hopefully it'll have a big draw, and it'll really be able to continue its mission. It won't be flying anymore, but we'll be able to make a great impact with it